Hello, welcome here, everyone. We're excited to be underway with day number whatever we say this week is. I'm very excited to see where we go from here as we're headed into week number 5 of the Aegis Defenders League. My name is Orbital. With me is Jay Beto, and we will be your casters for the upcoming match. I'm very excited. Jay Beto, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing good. I'm excited to get into these matches this week. We're obviously, you're covering some more later in the week. I'm not, but yeah, these are important matches coming up into playoffs. We've just been having some conversations with some of the admins and directors about it being a bit complicated and how you are getting into playoffs. But this match does still matter. How it matters, yet to be discerned, but these teams can still make it, or one of these teams can still make it, sorry. So this is a very important series if you want to keep your playoff hopes alive.
Yes, so for those wanting a rundown, the teams that we are currently watching play are both currently sitting at about 5th and 6th place relatively. They're sitting, or 4th and 5th, I should say. They're hunting for a victory of their own, and what this would mean is their 1-3 record that they're both sitting at would push them to 2-3, and that would allow them to play in the cross-conference matches that'll be hosted next week. Within those cross-conference matches, some teams will be moving on and some teams will be falling out, and that'll be between, I believe, the 3rd and 4th seeds as well. So it's a very interesting tactic, and it'll be a little bit of a markup there that we'll explain a little bit further on. However, the two teams that'll be playing here today are, of course, the XSV Kittens going up against Fools 5 Monarchs. Both squads currently sitting at 1-3, which is a tough time for them. For XSV Kittens, we got Ray, we got Pleb, we got Hot S'mores, we got Faye Wields, and Perfect Tempo.
Yeah, this is roster, unfortunately, 1-3, 4-7 in game score. A bit of a tough season so far. Some good names though, I will say. Some of them are a bit difficult to pronounce. I'm looking at that top one, but I mean, doesn't mean that you can't have a really good second half of the season, into playoffs and perform well. We have just finished up Worlds, so I mean, if there's anything more to hype you up, it's that.
Of course. Looking on the other side, though, Fools 5 Monarchs. We got Ant, we got Guo, we got Stone Cold, we got Solo Mason, and Thrasher to go ahead and round out this squad. A group that has had some tough times here in the division.
Yeah, 4-6 as well. So both of these game scores relatively close, as well as obviously the match score being tied the same. I will say these are both seasoned orgs, right? Fools 5 and XSV. They've been around the block a whole lot, so they should have a lot of tools available to them, coaching staff, some good scrims, some good access to scrims. So, and that's all you can want to improve. It's all you could hope for as we are getting into draft here.
Yep, getting right on into things, and for me, that's going to be the interesting part. What exactly are we going to see banned, and what are we going to see utilized here? Obviously, we go ahead and see this very quick shift into the Hecarim ban, very targeted over there. Heading into Pleb's pocket. Ziggs, of course, an all-around good ban overall. A lot of teams are recognizing that Ziggs can be very frustrating to deal with, especially in the wave clear game, but the Ivern is banned away, so very targeted at that jungle role, whether on the support side or the aggressive side.
Yeah, Guo being targeted, like you mentioned, and on the other side, the ADC pool being targeted out here with the Ziggs and the Yanara, both fairly strong ADCs. That's right. Bot laners, I should say. Ziggs is an APC. Yanara, was nerfed quite heavily, buffed to compensate for that, and now we're seeing her back again. And the Gwen Mordekaiser around that's a little bit of top lane action here. There's still like a ton available. The Sundered Sky junglers that are terrorizing every single game. Orianna, there's one of the Sundered Sky junglers in the Wukong. Orianna's still available. Not sure how comfortable you are going that into a Wukong. I'd love a Poppy, a Talia could look good into the Wukong, but I still think it's a really solid first pick.
I don't think it's a bad one by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't really give away much of your composition, so I think it's solid all around. The Sylas though is a little bit surprising. Blind Sylas is always a little bit frustrating to watch, and it puts a lot of kind of pressure down on whoever picks it up. We've seen jungle Sylas rise up a little bit with some of the changes to their abilities. The jungle creep damage has really spun up, but for the ADCs, we are seeing a lock, stock, and barrel for XSV, saying let's go ahead, build up a pretty nice front to back composition. This is not bad by any stretch of the imagination either. It is going to warrant either utility support to come out or an aggressive like a Nautilus, but the Gragas at the end to lock in the top side of the map.
You also got to remember, with the Sylas first pick, XSV need to be careful about what they're drafting. They don't want to draft these strong ultimates, and unfortunately, Gragas ult is one of those strong ultimates. It's not the best, but Sylas these days is more of a full damage assassin rather than, you know, like a rower Sylas or I mean, you can still go that, but I think against a Jinx, you'd want to be full damage assassin, and giving over an AP scaling damage ult is a bit scary. The Scion on the other side here, great blind pick into anything. It could be the Gragas top, which, like you mentioned, it could be Gragas mid, could be Gragas support. So Scion probably the best all-round top laner at the moment. It has, Worlds is over, it has devastated at Worlds. It's very strong. It's very good in all ranks, as it's not the most mechanically demanding top laner, but it's got some very good access to team fight utility and backline access, denial of space. Morgana here, so this could be jungle and could be support. It works decently well into the Wukong, you know, denying some of the knockup from Cyclone, but Morgana's, it's a single target, right? And Wukong can hit more than one of those.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, and again, with the Sylas still in there, especially with that Mel and Orianna ban, we're assuming that there is going to be a flex position in here. Syndra to round things out, still a very solid mid lane champion, very, very powerful in its own right. The Bard at the very end, though, to be paired with that Jinx, a little bit surprising. I would have expected something a little bit more powerful. Emilio, I think, would have been nice in there, because out comes a Karma. This is going to be that support, so the understanding is it's a Morgana or Sylas in the jungle, and one way or another, it'll be tough to play against. So FFM going with a little bit of a sillier composition, but still overall powerful if they can get on your back line. For XSV Kittens, though, it's a little bit of front to back with a little bit of space in between with the Gragas, with the Bard.
Well, unfortunately, we can cheat. It is Sylas jungle. I'm having a look right here at the in-game in-client draft. A Morgana mid. So this means that the mid lane will be, in my opinion, not as strong. I think that the Sylas can really do work against Syndra later, but the Syndra Scout of the Week could harm the Sylas. So they opt for the safer matchup in the Morgana, just going to clear and walk away. You're never really solo killing in this matchup as Morgana, and you're allowing the Sylas to really dictate the map flow a bit more. So have access to better ults. Like mid Sylas isn't really going to get Gragas ult for a while, or Bard ult or Wukong ult really. So being able to access these ults, gank, and potentially impact the Jinx lane, the Gragas lane, and maybe win out in these 1v1s. My eyes are on the bot lane, however. It is double range bot lane, which is volatility, right? Whenever you see double range bot lane, it's normally squishiness. You've got great roaming from the Bard on one side, both late game scaling hyper carries, and a crazy pushing lane in Sivir Karma. So I think that what we're going to see here is a complete path down of the junglers to the bot side, and even in investing from the mid lane, come down here and help in this bot lane skirmish around dragons. We could see a lane swap later on for the grubs, but I think that bot lane really dictates how this game goes.
Yeah, I mean, we see the Jinx get ahead very, very quickly. The Bard gets to be a little bit more free. If that Karma and the Sivir can outpush, all of a sudden that late game is really going to be theirs. I'm also looking at the top side. When you pick this Gragas, it's kind of understood that, hey, you're gonna be a little bit on the rough side if you run up against a tank that you can't really chew out later. Now, we have seen Gragases be able to, you know, kind of juggle the aggro, be able to dance out, has some really good trade patterns. But the longer the game goes on, the harder it is to be able to focus down your lane opponent, and you're starting to move towards the mid laner, towards the jungler, looking for the squishier targets at the end of the day. So for XSV Kittens, a lot of this is riding on the fact that we want to see a good game and we want to see them play well. Compositionally, they got a good early game, a good mid, a good late. They have all the pieces. FFM leaning very heavily into the late game for what they're hoping is a start to their second series win.
It would be really good. for either of these teams. These are much needed wins. Obviously, this is going to be a long series. We think, at least we were talking about this before we went live, thinking that it's probably going to be a bit of a long one. And I mean, these comps do dictate that, right? It's very late game focused team fighting with some snappy catches, Bard ult, which is great into Sivir, great into Morgana if she doesn't have Spell Shield, and obviously Spell Shield and Sivir. You got the Gragas and the Wukong for catching as well. So I think that it's going to be going late, but I really think that bot lane is the focus.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. If we get to see the jungler intervention, if we get to see anyone really drop on in to cause some mayhem and cause some chaos. Side note, I've been loving the mayhem game mode for ARAM. I have played that way too much because each game is only about 15 to 20 minutes, whether you win or lose. Taking a look here, 5-point being drawn up as neither team is willing to kind of put themselves into an invade position.
I know some people are a bit on the fence about the mode because sometimes you just get the most unfair random champions ever. Bit of warding here from XSV Kittens as they walk in, ward the red buff, and Monarchs will path around, make sure that there's no invade happening here and defend some of their own wards. But there was one in the river, so we'll see if there's an invade comes through, but Pleb on the top side pretty late. Kind of, this is a situation where the warding thing, because it's become very popular, you walk in, you ward to see where the jungle is pathing, but because you have to do it late, because otherwise the jungle will just hide from the ward, you end up knowing where both of them are starting anyway, because Monarchs know where Wukong is. Like, there's no way he ran bot. I mean, there might have been enough time, but it's very unlikely. So you can probably gamble Wukong starting top lane, 50-50 the scuttle. I think Silas might be favored in that trade. I mean, it should be bot scuttle for Monarchs because of bot push. Like, if this bot push doesn't go to Sivir Karma, I think it's a really big mistake. We'll have to see how that goes and which scuttle these junglers, if they choose to fight over them or not.
I mean, their pathing right now seems to be in that way. However, the turnaround is big as we see, I believe, that is perfect tempo. I guess we got the teams kind of swapped around here, and we might need to talk to some people about streamer mode, which is a little bit frustrating to see there. But it is Fools 5 Monarch on that blue side, actually, and XSV Kittens on the red, if we read that correctly. So unless I'm out there once again, maybe I'm a little bit crazy. Now I got to double check my notes all over again.
I think you might be a little crazy. I'll let you check up on said craziness, but while we check up on that, I think that already this bot lane is spelling issues here. Sivir Karma should never, ever, ever not have push. Unless you really make a mistake in the bot lane. Look at the CS differential for Sivir Jinx, 14-4 in the first 2 waves. I'm really concerned for Fools 5 here, as this is one of the simplest bot lanes. You mantra Q them all the wave if you're going for push, but most often it's them, and then press Sivir W and push. And now Thrashy's being invaded.
Yep, early invade coming in here, 3 minutes in and already doing some damage. I was crazy, but I'm not crazy about this one. This is going to be a tough one to fight. Good smite to come through by Pleb to steal this away and ensure it's their own. I messed up on all my timings, messed up on my understanding of who is where, and now my glasses are sitting right.
It's a unfortunate start for Monarchs, and maybe a bit of an unfortunate start for us over here too, but yeah, I'm really going to clamp down on this. Like this, you cannot have this bot lane lose this hard early. Wukong is invading Silas. I was talking about potentially Silas being able to fight 3v3 for the bot scuttle and be confident, but Thrasher on top.
Good flash out, making sure that they are safe underneath some more painful points here. So just making sure that they're not going to be in too much trouble. Ray with Gragas having a little bit of a tough time, but keeping up in the pacing and has that TP to get back to the lane fairly simply. Nice little tether though, as that's going to be a flash out. Thrasher is the one now in a little bit of trouble here on the bot side, as they're still waiting to recall. Solo Mason decided to solo recall and get themselves a longsword.
Perfect tempo has stayed. A bit low on HP. Thrasher's got to be careful. Another Mantra Q goes wide. Every time that misses, my heart hurts a little bit for this squad, because that's the most important ability and it needs to fix. Yeah, I think that Kittens are in a good spot here. You're waiting on level 6 for Wukong. You're waiting on level 6 for Bar and start getting this roam going. If you can give first Drake, you're fine with that. If you need to, I think it's Syndra. With Syndra Wukong level 6, you could fight the Drake. But for Monarchs, I think that they're not in a great spot, right? You're really reliant on the Sivakama having push. And when they don't have push into the range and engage from Kittens, it's almost impossible to do anything without their Scion. So they're just basically sitting here down a ridiculous amount of CS. There is a massive hole in the map right now, which should be maybe even the other way. I think that Bard can assist in the lane, but Jinx shouldn't be able to farm. Like, you should be punishing her for walking up every time with Karma. It should be very difficult to do anything. Dragon has now spawned, and neither team has started it up, so Monarchs feeling a little bit better about that, but I'm just worried for the next couple of minutes, the next 10 minutes or so. I don't think it gets better for Monarchs if they're not comfortable on this bot lane.
I can agree with that one. They got to get things under control, and maybe that comes in the hand of Thrasher, who is attempting to walk down towards that bottom lane. Not too much in their favor, though, as they reroute towards that mid. It is going to be a jump on as Stone Cold in the mid lane. And Chunked out here has to flash away with the Black Shield as well. Rough spot to be in, so Pleb and Syndra right now having a really nice time. Hot S'mores, making sure this mid lane is really firmly in the Kittens' hands.
Thrasher will try to gang, but it's spotted on a ward.
Maybe they get in range now. They're gonna try. The tether actually lands, but perfect tempo flashes away to safety. So at least it's a flash back. Did feel a little bit overextension-y, but Thrasher says no big deal.
A nice attempt. And force the flash out of the Bard. Feels pretty good. But now Thrasher has to base. The mana and HP for the bot lane of Monarchs is low, so they should have to base here. Meanwhile, Pleb in mid. The spell shield will dissuade him from that, and still this dragon orbital hasn't been started up. I really think that Kittens are in a great spot. Sheen on this Wukong just based for a BF sword on Jinx. I think that was a great time to come out and start this Drake up. The late base as well from Solar Mason means that there would be very little contest right now on this Drake. I think a bit of a missed window here for Kittens.
We'll see what they say, of course. That's going to be a binding landing. Hot S'mores saying, you're just a little bit annoying in the mid lane. One of the biggest, I would say, frustrations playing against Morgana is definitely the fact that, hey, you can't really push against it. It's a little bit tough without jungle intervention. But at the current pace, nobody's really stepping out of line. For the Kittens, they're up about 300 gold, mainly just from CS differentials in that bottom side. And that, no global objectives being taken. No one's really gotten too all over the place. Nice tether, though, as it's going to be Russ. Solo Mason can't pop that barrier fast enough. The burn might be enough, but Solo Mason barely stays alive.
Yeah, this is honestly the exact same as a solo kill, depending on how you want to think about it, because Faye is already up CS equivalent to a solo kill, and luckily Solo Mason is able to stay. I think this is really risky. If there was a dive here, I think that it's a mistake the Kittens aren't punishing this bot lane. I really think the story of this game, in game one, is this volatile bot lane and the fact that Monarchs are not playing it very well. If Pleb was down bottom, ready to dive at level 6 right now, he gets Scuttle, gets level 6 off Krugs and Scuttle, and then dives this. That's a double kill easily for Kittens. Instead, they opt for the 3 grubs with a lane swap, which is not a bad decision, but you're giving Drake now in a position where I really don't think that you you shouldn't be giving Monarchs any room to breathe, any back in here, because now they get 1 Drake. That's time on this Sivir to scale, and you're not punishing this bot lane because your lane swapped away. Gragas is not going to punish the Syndra at all. Sorry, the Sivir at all.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be, and you want to keep that pressure up, as you said. Kittens, though, lane swapping up to the top side, saying we went ahead and got the grub, so we're going to try and do a little bit more push power in there. I will say a Cloud Dragon is not the worst one to go over. If we see a second one, especially the Infernal, that's where I'm going to get very, very worried. So let's see if they do have that commotion abound. Back to farming, and not too bad overall, but the main thing is how much are you actually going to get with this lane swap? That's what my eyes are always drawn to, especially with 3 grubs in hand. You should be chewing through at least some of these plays.
Sion's just so good in lane swaps. His ability to survive on a weak side, he just can't really get dove by what Kittens have in their comp right now. I mean, Wukong's great, but the CC chain is not long enough. Sion still has flash and has ult. It's almost impossible. Thrash will be spotted on this ward going across, maybe caught.
It's a little bit dangerous overall, Thrasher. You just can't go far enough, and that's first blood. Going over to the likes of Hot S'more is very, very well done on that catch.
Yeah, good job for Kittens, but Thrasher, unfortunately, goes just too far there. I just realized as well that for Monarchs, Thrasher is their listed support. So yeah, we don't know who this support is right now. Have to check up on that a bit later, but the rest of them look like the correct ones. I'll just triple check with myself. Yes, I believe so. But yeah, obviously streamer mode, we don't know. I mean, these guys are all massive streamers, so they could be getting stream sniped at any moment. So we need to make sure that they're hiding their name. Honestly, props to these guys. I'm really glad that I can cast for such massive celebrities.
That's a little bit too real right there. Gotta agree either way. We'll see exactly how this goes. That's gonna be cast though. Bomba around. Well played. Ray makes a little bit of good cooking and cooks up Solo Mason. Now chasing down a second though, as Disaster is striking for the Monarchs. If this is going to be yet another, it will be a whole other turn. Of course, the tether comes on out, but it is enough. Right now the Kittens getting solo kills where it feels good.
Yeah, Monarchs. This bot lane, it's really leaving a lot to be desired, but I have to say, excellent ult there by Ray. Find the ult under the tower, the pre-placed barrel. It was all very well played. And you were talking a bit earlier about how Grag gets into tanks. He's not the best, and I completely agree. He doesn't really build any tank shredding items at all. No Leandries, no real pen, but being laned up against Sivir, Thrasher's caught.
That's a whole other spot once again. It feels like this is a repeat from before. Tough times all around, as we did just see Thrasher, this first pick, Silas just really not working out. Syndra though, saying hello as Hot S'more swings it hard and isn't able to really kill just yet, but I mean, you went with the Blackfire Torch. You're not going to be killing anyone just yet, but it's a lot of damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. I feel like maybe Kittens could have stayed there with Pleb and Dove again and probably got more kills with the Syndra roam, but they ended up cancelling the base, doing a bit of damage, and that'll allow Kittens to be back on the map quicker. Honestly, again, props to Ray for fighting the solo kill, but the CS difference between this bot lane has evened up. I feel like this needs to be punished more. Later on earlier in this game, I think the Kittens are just now ramping up the speed with the Wukong. That was a really good gank and a catch on the Thrasher, who's had a tough start to this game. So props to Pleb for finding that, and good on Kittens here. Perfect tempo will be rooted up. That's an aggressive magical journey into the pit, but should be fine, able to walk away. Next Drake's up in 50 seconds. I need to see Kittens press their foot down on the gas pedal here. This Sivir is extremely weak right now with the Essence Reaver up against the Yuntal from Jinx, and every time that stacks a bit more and more, it'll get stronger and stronger. This is an impossible dive here, but Thrasher just wants to get that explosive cast, maybe get some cross-map. Pleb.
It's gonna be a nice little tether. Rocket from downtown is going to miss, but for the Kittens, it's all about just taking control of this jungle side. Solo Mason having to play in second tower position allows the Jinx to get so much free farm here on the bot side.
Bit of an invade as well. Nice. And yeah, again, Cyclone used, no dive happens, so Sivir's able to catch the wave for free under this tower. I wish this was a dive here. Members are around. You've got Tempered Fate available. And now, but we based the Dragon's being sold up by Monarchs. This is, yeah, what I think that this game should be is Kittens just smashing this bot lane, ganking over and over and diving over and over with the mistakes that Monarch have been making, and then stacking these Drakes. I think the Dragon stacking, we can all agree, is incredibly strong. Now, somehow, Monarchs have 2 Drakes. This bot lane from Kittens has not really ballooned their start at all. They were up over double CS in the first couple of waves and have basically allowed it to stalemate or even out for the Monarchs, and are consistently opting for this lane swap, which at this point in the game favors the Scion much more than it does the Gragas. I mean, great solo kill again from Ray earlier, but yeah, I'm really not on the same page with what Kittens are doing this game.
Yeah, it almost feels like they feel like they already have this game in the bag. They have a few kills, they have some good advantages, but they're not pushing it. And I gotta agree on that one. We are gonna see the Herald being started up here. Pleb really putting a lot of emphasis here on these temporary buffs, is what I really like to call them. They are going to gather it for themselves, but they really haven't broken the tower. It hasn't yielded that much of a gold lead whenever you play with these upper side objectives. It's just kind of there, is all I can really say. So they are going to pick up Herald. They are going to have it in hand if they wish to use it somewhere, though. They can go ahead and give it their best shots. Where do they decide to drop it, though, is anyone's questions, as all the towers on FFM's side all seem fairly healthy. Around the corner, Pleb is looking. That's going to be a great Cyclone Karma. Stuck in the corner, has flash, but a really nice Soul Shackles will slow things down, but the Syndra was able to pop that poor Karma where they stand, so it's still a kill back.
Yeah, very nice kill there on the Karma. I think, hold on, Faye, forced a flash.
And it's not far enough. Easy pickings right there. FFM and Thrasher kind of getting their revenge.
I think Kittens did a really good job of, even though I disagree with their idea for the game, going for these top-side objectives and not punishing the bot lane, they've done a really good job of swapping around the map. As I don't know if you want this hot small. You're TPing into 2 here.
Yeah, you don't like it. However, there's an answer on the other side of the map, so it is good to some extent. Kittens trying to pressure out on this bottom side of the map. Now rocket from across town actually being utilized. That was a stolen rocket from Thrasher's side. Still though, towers now being broken, so it is still fairly even in terms of the global objective play. However, for FFM, as he said, they're stacking dragons, and the Ocean Soul is not one to give up easily.
Yeah, especially with a Scion and a Silas later on when these items come through. The Silas going that assassin playstyle that I was talking about a bit earlier. And the Scion, I mean, everybody knows what Scion looks like in team fights, just the unkillable tank engine that he is. And Ocean Soul makes that even harder to get through, especially considering that there's mostly burst damage on the side of Kittens here. And if you can't burst through the Scion, you are not killing him. Timid Fate will catch Karma.
Will be enough. Yes, it is a very, very quick pick. Lands Pleb into the driver's seat. Not only that, you're going to use the attack speed buff. Faye gets excited and breaks through a second tower. Kittens really on pace now to start accelerating the game that we had asked them to do about, I would say, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, this is some good pacing here from Kittens. They're ramping up with some genuine tempo that they've got, putting multiple of their members in the mid lane, sacking some top waves, but that's okay. You've broken the mid tower, you got another kill. 3 on Syndra, 1 on the Wukong is nice. Would love some on this Jinx, but giving her some of this tower gold and some isolated farm is really nice. It's resulted in this CS lead. Again, still very stagnant from what it was in the lane, but a lead is a lead. You know, you're nearly up to, I'd say, this BF sword, so you're a while away from Infinity Edge. Won't have it for this next Drake, but we'll have it for the one after that. The risk, though, is you kind of need to fight this Drake, because otherwise you're giving over Ocean Soul. We talked about how strong this Ocean Soul is this game. And in Jinx, Sivir, main characters for this game, and there is a lot of dive on both sides to take them down. You'd love an Infinity Edge or a Navori for the Sivir, but neither will be available for this Drake.
Nope, it's all about just keeping the mana up and hopefully staying alive. Let's see if they can do it, though. Because right now, the entirety of FFM are kind of running for the hills here. Take a look at that topside wave. It's been pushed up, meaning the Gragas is able to join on in no problem. But for Pleb, it's all about what can you get away with here. You are a little Wukong. I'm going to try and run interference here. Bottleneck coming in. FFM fully grouping up with 5. Are they really going to find anyone is the big question. Dragon now spawned. Temper Fate comes on in. Grabs 2. Will it be more? Answer Temper Fate on the other side as a Cyclone breaks it on up. We don't even even need our ADC is what I just heard. The Kittens at least get 2. Really, really well played. Are they going to get a little bit more, though, as another great binding lands on the back end, but the scout of the week will slow you all down as Thrasher cannot survive. The Syndra is on a rampage, and I don't know who that is, but I hope they're an A-list celebrity with how they're currently playing. Rest of the team is currently scouting about. Perfect tempo is keeping themselves safe, but the Dragon is the main star of the show right now. TP coming in round number 2, possibly on the horizon. However, Pleb needs a little bit of help if they can. Good tether on the back end, and it is going to be a kill, so Dragon no longer started here. Gragas going over the wall. Not sure about this one, as things are getting a little bit messy here. Karma TP'd in for the back end as well, and it's all over the place. This is ridiculous play. No TP from Karma. I lied. There is none. There is no unsealed spellbook, but Empower Q over the wall will slow you all down. And Ant is able to swing one more for a triple kill on the Scion.
And the first fight goes in favor of Kittens, but the elongated fight, the extended fight, goes in favor of Monarchs very handedly. It's Soul Point. It's going to be Aegis and Orbital. I'm really not a fan of picking Jinx and then leaving the Jinx out to dry in the team fights, but it seems like that's very common. It's a very common thing that happens in a lot of leagues, in a lot of elos, in fact. But the dive is so good from Kittens with the Tempered Fate, finding 2 in the back, and then the Cyclone as well, just layering the damage, the long range follow-up from Syndra. But Faye just gets insta-popped by the dive from Monarchs, and Solo Mason does die to the dive from the other side, so both AD carries do die. And the short play does favor Kittens. If they had given and maybe got some HP back, maybe Wukong could have done a camp and then came back with a bit of healing. Instead, they start up the Dragon, and Ant is still full health. Your only tank damage, which doesn't really have any pen yet, is this Jinx. Left out to dry in the fight, taken down immediately, and now this game reads all Monarchs.
It's crazy to think they got over the hurdle that we talked about, this rough point of the early to mid game. And it was kind of gifted at the end of the day. As you said, it feels like Monarchs are starting to become this mainstay focus. Of course, the problem is a lot of their DPS hasn't really gotten the kills. It's mainly been Ants, who has 4 kills for themselves, hasn't died yet. Which always seems interesting. For a Scion, of course, you aren't using, what is it, like a core 25% of your kit? Feels weird at the end of the day. But and we do see that change as pressing into the 22-23 minute mark. We are going to have the Aegis up to play if they wish in about 3 minutes on Dragon once again.
The Aegis was taken by the Monarchs there just before, so they do have that objective. Tempered Fate was just used onto Karma, who was forced to flash away, so that's a pretty important summon spell not available. Still waiting on this second item for both the AD carries. It looks like for both of them it's going to be the Infinity Edge, unless we're going something else on Solo Mason, and he is very, very far away from that, actually. Just a pickaxe at minute 22. It's going to be, honestly, without some kills, nearly 30 minutes before it's finished. Does have 1k in base, so actually pretty close on the BF store, but Pleb.
Oh, Pleb tried, but the Black Shield was perfect. Answer Temper Fate back really means that Pleb is gone. Who else is here? The Unstoppable Onslaught slows them all down. Gragas trying his best, but the Bomba just brings the tank even closer as Zance tanks up the tower. FFM bring the BPM and raise the music high as the Syndra is just trying to stay alive on the back end. The Kittens starting to lose a lot of ground.
Your Jinx is maximum 600 gold off of Infinity Edge, a massive spike. And then further away from that, away from Pen, you have no Leandries built for some reason by Syndra, went Shadow Flame second into Scion, little bit of Pen now, and Pleb decides that's a perfect time to engage 1v5 in the mid lane when no objective is spawned. I think, I don't know what I think. There was no reason to why that happened. He just completely saw red and decided to go in and die. His AD carry unfortunately got caught in the fight as well. this is really disappointing to me. From a position where your bot lane was really hard winning to not seeing that this is where the game is decided about when your AD carry spikes and when your Syndra spikes too, but going Shadow Flame into Sion is not conducive to spiking at all. And then over fighting, not stacking the Drakes, being away from your winning side, swapping. I think that this Kittens game plan is really not hitting the mark for me. I think that Monarchs have done a great job of stabilizing this game. Their team fights have been excellent, and I think that Ant on this Sion has been providing so much space for Mason to do AoE damage, from Stone Cold to do damage. Thrasher took the Tempered Fate and then instantly put it onto perfect tempo, so no peel came through from the Bard. Thrasher...
Uh-oh, that's going to be the call as the Unstoppable Onslaught once again catches in the poor Syndra. You have no name, which means you have no life. Down you go once again. Originally one of the stronger members of this squad. It's a double this time, handed over to Solo Mason, who gets there first in the game. Pleb goes over the wall, and there's only so much you can do. Pleb has gone for a triple kill for Solo Mason, and guess what, Jay Beto? It's just in time for the 4th dragon of the game. That fools have gotten. The Monarchs are reigning supreme.
Jinx just bought Infinity Edge in base, by the way. So again, we engage when we don't have a spike on Jinx. That fight could have been better if you had caught Thrasher a bit better. Maybe Tempered Fate on top of him, or Tempered Fate to separate some of the fight. But now you've lost Soul. Now you've lost Baron. The overfighting has really come to bite you in the back, and this game has gone from a dominant early game from Kittens to a stable mid game with some mistakes to now a monstrous late game from Monarchs, as they have all tools available to them to look to end this game. I imagine that Solo Mason is going to bait here for an Infinity Edge of his own. We are very close. There it is, and it's 2 items across the board, 3 for this Sion, building on 4, and we are really lacking some of these crucial items for Kittens.
Yeah, it's... The Kittens are truly kittens at this point. You're really hoping they were tigers or cougars or anything like that. Nah, they really are kittens at the end of the day. Of course, a little hop of the wall as Solo Mason says, I don't want to be here, but the rest of the team is chasing out Syndra on the back end. That's gonna be Tempered Fate missing on the forefront, but of course the battle is not what you want to be. Pleb goes down and pays the price for their invade as Gragas will run off into the horizon. Things have gone from worse to worse for the Kittens as they lose 2 more.
Yeah, Kittens seem very eager to get to the next game. That play doesn't it does make sense if you're looking to find a pick off on one person coming out bot side. Potentially find one, but realistically, where is the entire team from Monarchs going to go? It's bot side for this bot tier 1 tower. Bot and mid is most likely where you're going to go. So I like the cross map right now from Ray in the top side, getting a tower potentially with those 3 grubs they got earlier in the game. But I mean, you're really waiting on like Jinx getting a pentakill, even if she gets excited here, she has no pen into Sion. They have a very little pen for Syndra. They have no Leandries, so the damage, even with a long fight, which now favors Monarchs because of Ocean Soul, even the long fight, I don't think Ant will take a death this game at all.
Yep, it feels way too clean right now as the Monarchs, they got over that difficult hump of damage, that timing where they really were looking as the, I wouldn't say weaker squad, but a team that needed a little time to scale on up. They have found the moment and they're going to look for it. However, Pleb looking at the back end for a chance to get that cyclone off, but is it really going to work? It only caught 1 on the back end and no one else is really following, meaning Pleb is this poor soul that is annihilated. Thrasher gets a kill. And that flank option only works if the rest of the flank happens to pan out. XSV Kittens have lost their way, and in just 29 minutes, FFM went from are we going to win to we know we're going to win. They are looking at the start of a series win. They're second to try and keep themselves in the playoffs.
And a mistake-ridden game for Kittens, but Monarchs some very good macro, net them the Ocean Drake, some great team fighting and stability from this top side, net them an Atakan and a Baron, and some great late game sieging, net them the first game as well, Orbital. I really have concerns going into this series now. What are Kittens going to do? Because that was a great game to really push open. You found a massive hole, you created a massive hole, I'll say, in the bot side of the map there, where Sivakama, a volatile bot lane, very weak against dives early game, is down a significant amount of CS, down summoner spells, ready to get dove over and over again, zoned away from waves, and just got to sit there in a kind of free haven there, refugee camp, you could say, and have as much food as they want, come back strong. And even though I'm obviously annoyed about how that game went for Kittens, I should say Monarchs did an excellent job at teamfight, and their teamfights were very well put together. The Black Shield got a lot of value. It's not always easiest to highlight a Morgana value. These supportive mids can sometimes look a bit weak, but I think that did a really good job at protecting the crucial members. Thrasher on this. So it is Guo. It is actually Guo. So support and jungle swapped. I'm just looking at the player names here. So noted down. But yeah, excellent game played here by Monarchs, and Kittens need to tighten their early game up.
We'll see if they can do so. Right now, we have a lot of questions, but of course, they will have the answers, whether in the form of a win or a loss. So we will go to a short break. When we come back, we'll have all the action. You can see there, of course, with a lot of that utility, with a lot of that damage, there were numbers, but we got to see more. We got to amp those numbers up. So don't go anywhere. The ADL will be back in just a bit.
マーケットは迅速な発送ですぐにお届けします。あ、ボックセット？
あ、大丈夫？
でも直接来てくれたの？これって
漫画みたいだったね。
しかも今衣装着てるし、花でもあれば完璧なのに。
完璧だよ。壊れ物だから自分で届けたかったんだ。
あなたって完璧。ありがとう、全マーケット。
Fellow armsmen, I ask you, will you follow me tonight to break their spine and reclaim what once was mine? Those cravens backstabbed me, deceived me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Oh, 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. To the edge of death and back again. We've seen the walls come down, but here we all still stand. We're not afraid, we feel like the fight over. They try to extinguish us. We are timeless in death. Hear the awakened world. Scream glorious, scream courage. For here we stand in the path of victory. We made it through fires to redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory. So we still remain. To our last free breath and back again. We've seen our scars burn red and seen them turn to flame. We're the fire that guides our destiny. Yeah, the torch of nations. We fight until the last. Hear the awakened world. Scream glorious, scream courage. For here we stand in the path of victory. We made it through fires to redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory. So we still remain. How many came to fight and die here? How many legions overcome? How many scars are left behind us? But there will be no rises. There's always light waiting Hear the awakened world. Scream glorious, scream courage. For here we stand forever from this day. We made it through fires to redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory.
Here we go, one more time, or that's what a lot of the Monarchs are saying here. The Fools 5 Monarch came away with game number 1. Maybe not the most convincing early game, but definitely a convincing late game there. For the Kittens, though, they got to find a way to kind of bounce back. You had some strong words over there, Jay Beto, and maybe they've taken some sort of advice from it as we head on into the draft.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some positive words. I'm going to be more positive about this game. For Monarchs, tighten up the early game a little bit, mostly in the bot. The rest of the game was completely fine. Top lane was great. Survived the lane swap cross mapping exceptionally well. The mid lane was completely fine. And as long as you can get, I say a better matchup, as long as you can perform a little bit better in the early stages of the game in bot lane, I think that Monarchs can take this 2-0 very quickly. I think Kittens really need to reevaluate their game plans for the game. When you're going into a game, as you're loading in, when you're picking your champions, everybody needs to be on the same page. And as long as you are, that's fine. It doesn't have to be the page that I'm writing or you're writing or anyone. It can be what they want to do. And as long as they're all on the same page, then that's a great first look. They were on the same page at the beginning of the game, swapping away to the top lane, securing the top side objectives, and then later on it felt very desperate. And this is kind of a thing that happens with Jinx in games where maybe you're not as comfortable playing Jinx. You oversend some fights when Jinx has not got any valuable items. Some different bans here. Poppy being banned away. I think it's the exact same on the Kitten side. Oh no, Kittens banned away Ziggs Monarchs on red side banned away Ziggs and Yunara. So this side Kittens being forced to ban away Yunara. It's the Gwen, the Mordekaiser trade. Poppy being banned. I mean, Jarvan looks great. Ooh, Ryze, okay. Could go Ryze Pantheon for some double global action. But for Kittens, Galio's a good look. Answer the global. Get some good magic protections in here. Still a lot of picks available.
Oh, and they go with a little bit of a weaker champion pool ask. That is Lissandra that I haven't seen in ages for so long, and against the likes of a Ryze, I'm pretty sure the Lissandra loses out. Looks like you're trying to play for setup and sacrificing a little bit of the laning phase instead. So for the Viego in the jungle, I mean, you gotta look towards that mid lane and really help out Hot S'mores.
I mean, you might be right. It might be set up. You know what else has set up? Galio, who also has Magic Shield into Ryze, great clear, phase rush to get away from Ryze, a global ult to match. I do not understand this. The reason we don't see it very often, like you said, is because it's a counter pick into massive mobility, into LeBlanc, into Ahri, which is not picked this game. Ryze doesn't care about anything Lissandra does. He's just going to kill you. Jax and Nah picked up here for Merc, so no flex potential. It'll be probably top lane Nah and Jax in the jungle. So wanting to keep their bot lane a little bit hidden. This is something that is nice for Kittens. The Malphite into the Nah, into the Ryze, gap closing, and you're really setting up around this Viego here. This comp so far is Viego or bust for Kittens. So I expect them to continue to build this, more engage. Could even be like a Kai'Sa angle here to try to get in. It is a little bit tough against a Ryze, so Jhin as well maybe could work here. And for Mercs, trying to get the best bot lane you can, which right now, I don't know. I mean, engage support's great. Brahm's off the table, which would have been really nice. They do ban the Jhin, so agreeing that Jhin would have looked really good in this comp. Xayah against Malphite, so Xayah Rakan here for Mercs could be really nice if you've got some fast reaction time. But Kittens, will their pick here first?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. There was obviously a heavy focus and emphasis on the ADCs, banned away a lot of the long rangers, trying to stay away, but the Varus is still there, which still sets up a really nice wombo combo. I like what they've done so far, but will it hold? Again, in my opinion, they're still lacking a lot of that damage aspect with the Varus, and I like what FFM are doing. A little bit of an overload there, but that is hoping that the Misfortune doesn't get caught by the Lissandra or the Malphite. There's a lot of conditions placed on either composition. I like this round out though. The Rel isn't bad, having that Madden Storm available, keeping the enemy at bay.
Should be Alistair here for Kittens. the best option. Alistair's great into Rel, more engaged, tanky, can roam away from Varus. Great, good pickup. That's the only choice. Anything else was bad. Poppy's banned away. You've got no range options. Braum is not in the game anymore. He's banned away too. So I think that the round out here from Kittens is really good. I'm not a fan of the MF. I think that you do just get eaten alive by the rock. Not Dwayne, the rock on the screen there. But I mean, there is outplay, right? If you get W Max online second, get those movement speed boots, maybe you can outspeed the Malphite so that he can't land ult on you. The problem is that there's so much threat from Kittens. You've got the massive dive from Alistair, Lysandra, Malphite. You've got catch potential with the Varus and the Lysandra as well. Great catch, like single target catch with the root from both Lysandra and Varus plus Lysandra ult. And on the other side, you're really investing into Jax and Gnar, which, Malphite loves. You've got very low range with the Ryze and the MF, obviously MF outside of ult, I should say, into great range from Varus. I think that Kittens have a good time getting resets. The thing is, though, is that I felt very confident about Kittens comp last game as well. And again, they weren't on the same page. So how should this game look? Well, it's surrounding this Viego. I think that, again, bot lane is a bit contentious with the Varus, but not as much with the tanks. They should be roaming around from this Ryze, try to impact the side lanes, whether it's top, that should be winning for Gnar, even though it's a tough matchup. Bit of a skill matchup, so it's understandable if that goes in favor of Kittens. And roaming down to these dragons, to this bot fight. Obviously Kittens did lane swap quite a lot, so expect to see that again from them. But it's around this Viego. Can we get shut down? So can we get resets for Kittens? For Monarchs, can we kill the Viego first? I think that Kittens have an exceptional draft. I think that they've done a really good job. A lot of counters here outside of Lysandra. That's a little bit awkward. But the Alistair, I'm a massive fan of Alistair, so I think Kittens have good tools. It comes down to the execution, though. Resets on Viego. Can we play these lanes well?
Yeah, that's what they're hoping for, and I think they can do it. We've seen some shining moments from them, so, give them a little bit of a chance. Of course, at the end of the day, we'll see exactly how it pans out. We got a little bit of time still left on the spectator delay, so, they are taking their time and making sure that everything is set up appropriately. I'll be looking at Pleb, though. We keep hammering on the fact that everything is kind of all in on the Viego. I don't dislike it from the viewpoint that Pleb was kind of the star. Pleb actually did very well in getting a lot of those kills, getting those opportunities. So I don't dislike the pivot idea. We have just obviously made note that, yeah, it's tough to pull off. So again, it comes down to the early game, comes down to mid lane team fighting. But for the side of FFM, where do we see them taking victory? Again, compositional wise, they have a lot of damage, a really nice kind of profile across the entirety. Where do they put a lot of their firepower in the early game?
They have a great team fighting identity here, right? With the Ryze, getting some massive late game value. They've got map potential play with the Realm Warp, and they have great like AoE damage, right? And Ryze, not the most, you really have to be close, but with the MF as well. So I think that you've got a ton of engage with the Gnar, Jax, Rel. Ryze can catch as well as that. You've got follow-up with the Ryze and this Misfortune, and you've got the ability to transition around the map very quickly with Realm Warp. I think that this comp is much harder to play from Monarchs than the Kittens comp, as Kittens comp is just kill first target with CC. Very simple. But Monarchs had some great team fighting. They had a really solid top lane, which I would trust Ant after that Sion performance to pilot something a little bit more high execution in a matchup that's a little bit more volatile for the Gnar. And I think that it's going to come down to these side lane players. Can you find access to the side lanes, taking smaller skirmishes? It is really difficult to walk in 5 against Lysandra Malphite. That can be very, very tough. So I think Monarchs have got a tough game on them with this comp, but I think they can do it.
I think they can as well. I mean, they pulled it off in game number 1, so we'll see if they can do it in game number 2. Keep in mind, both teams are currently sitting at the bottom of the tables in the XTAL division, and that's what they're hoping to kind of have made for them. They need a win here. They need a convincing one to be able to play in the cross-conference group. So let's see if they can pull it off here. Once again, it is Monarchs over there on the blue side, and of course the Kittens over on the red.
Very interesting start here from Hot S'mores as hold on, quick check, everyone has streamer mode off. Big props to everyone. Thank you for doing that. It helps us out a lot, and it helps you get your name out there a little bit more if you're seeing in clips, so it's good for both of us. But Hot S'mores going the Dark Sealed refillable start. Obviously, you have a pretty free time laning against a Rise. He can't really kill you, but you can't really kill him either. He's going to clear the wave much faster than you are. But the Lysandra is obviously looking to impact some of these team fights with Jax, with the Nile, with the Rel, and try to stop the engage happening, give the resets over to Viego. So I understand the start. It's a much slower start in terms of wave clear, but should do more in the longer play. Got the cleanse for Solo Mason. Again, there's a lot of catch on the side of Kittens here, so does make sense that you want the cleanse. Obviously missing out a little bit on that barrier 1v1. The exhaust coming out from Guo as well here, but Faye, PTA virus, typically that means AP virus. It's not going to be, I think it's going to be on-hit virus, which I don't know if I love the AP virus this game. I think that on-hit virus is better. Sorry, wait. Hang on, I just mumbled up my words. Restart that sentence. I don't think on-hit is that great. I think lethality poke virus is the better option here with Comet. You get a better time laning. You're able to help catch, and your game plan should be kill first target as quickly as possible to get Viego a reset, which the lethality variant of virus does much better. But this version of virus allows you to fight in the fray a little bit more if it is that on-hit and not AP, which it should be.
I think it's an appropriate breakdown right there. And, you know, if it works at the end of the day. But, of course, we do know one or the other. Catches in the mid lane, though, as Stone Cold dancing a little bit too close to the sun here. Only level 2, which for a Rise is always a little bit of a tough spot. Overall, though, in terms of the CS differential, Stone Cold is keeping within the bounds. It's Hot S'mores that's also kind of sending as much damage forward as possible. You mentioned before the Dark Seal, which a lot of you all talked about. Very gold efficient. Will it work later on in the game, though, is a big question.
A little bit of rage up here on the top of Naba action. We'll do a good trade onto Ray. And Ants will chase him out. Hit another. What is that? What is that on the skin? It's not a boulder. Is it? Was it a sack there? I don't actually know what skin this is. Like a Santa sack? Is it a Christmas skin? Who knows, to be honest. But doing some good damage there, chasing over. Good roam here from Perfect Tempo, actually. This should be catched. Ooh.
Yeah, I like that catch in the mid lane, and it's perfectly well done. Once again, for the Kittens, we said the early game they have a lot of punch. They weren't willing to kind of push the envelope when they did get a lead. So this time around, they're starting off strong.
Yeah, very good start here. Guru will find a stun, and Perfect Tempo, great roam. I expect what happened, looking at the summoner spells, is Perfect Tempo was able to predict the flash from Stone Cold, or maybe Stone Cold flashed a little bit early and it was followed up by probably like a Q flash and then W in to allow you to push back. But here comes a fight.
And I wonder how clean this fight is actually going to be. Level 4s, level 5s from everyone, so not really the biggest ticket items. Instead, it's another catch on this mid lane, as again, it's so free here. Stone Cold running the other direction. Was able to stay safe because of that. However, for Stone Cold, you're starting to recognize, I can't really stay here comfortably. I have to be very aware of my opponents.
Well, very good pathing from Pleb. I did think there was going to be a fight with Bot Scuttle, but instead the Bot Scuttle got claimed by Pleb, and then he ran directly to the top lane to get the other Scuttle. So he got the double Scuttle advantage, very strong. Will be a bit later on the clear now, but double longsword, dagger. Pretty good start here from Pleb on this Viego. Nice attempt on Stone Cold, but Pleb, no flash, can go over the wall to chase out the Rise. So it will just be an HP trade in favor of Hot S'mores.
Hot S'mores, especially on this Lysandra, you want them to be as strong as possible so they can hit level 6, they can roam out ASAP. It's one of the few champions that, in my opinion, if you're not roaming, you're not playing the champion right in the early to mid game. You are supposed to be the CC champion, this person that kind of punches through, keeps an opponent down. And that's why I actually really like the amount of vision that we're seeing around this top side. However, at the current moment, we are seeing these kind of resets here, a little bit of a float from perfect tempo towards that bottom river side. Saying, okay, maybe we don't want to give over the dragon ASAP every single time again. Maybe we get some wards down for ourselves.
This is a really nice change up from Kittens. Yeah, they're spotted. Just start it. Push the mid wave. Push the bot wave. Roam in. You're way stronger right now with this Lysandra. Rise. Not the strongest pre-level 6 regardless, but really needs items and levels to get online. So this is a good start. I think that like a worst case scenario here for Kittens is another lane swap. Oh, we'll put down the Gnar, we'll trade grubs for dragon. No, get the dragon early, then lane swap, and then get the grubs as well. Great early start here from Kittens, much more aggressive than the game 1 start.
On that one, Cloud in their pocket. They'll be moving a little bit faster here. Ray, of course, already level 6. Happy about that one. Has a chain vest in tow. Level 6 on the other side for Ant just as well. First gate coming in from Guo down in the mid lane. As you can see, Solo Mason just kind of left on their own for the current moment. Not the worst position to be in, but will be nice to be able to hit that level 6 as soon as possible.
Looks like it is going to be the on-hit virus, which I'm glad it's not AP. I think AP is probably the worst version. It used to be really strong. I really liked AP virus back in the day, but nowhere near as strong as it was. Hot Small takes a decent trade here, and Thrasher is around the corner waiting, but we'll have to walk away and just opt for the Scuttle Crab, looks like. I wouldn't be surprised to see a push in here from the bot side of Kittens and then lane top here. This lane is pretty dead. The support matchup basically goes whichever support uses ability first loses the trade. Obviously Guo can just press Q and stun, but neither can really engage. If Alistair uses combo, then Rel can go in. If Rel tries to go in, then Alistair will just push away. So, you know, move away from that. Not like it's the hardest lane. You could choose to stay here and get some plates with a dive, but I think 40 seconds on these grubs. I would love to see level 6 is now online for Kittens. I think the level 6s are stronger as well for Kittens. It's going to take a while before Monarchs are much stronger. Get the lane stop going right now on this base timer and fight these grubs.
I like how you say it's going to take a little longer for the Monarchs to get online, and that's exactly what happened in game 1. Like, it just... there wasn't much to do. They just waited and waited and waited, and then they became this all-powerful squad. It's something that is going to be very terrifying to watch for, so we'll see if it does pan out the same. Either way, currently in possession, we are seeing this slow roll towards that top side of the map. Of course, we do see the grubs up and available, so who is going to get those grubs for themselves? A little stun to come out as Guo eats that one on the backside, but you got bone plenty, so you're not too worried.
Well, here comes the fight. Ant has jumped in. There's a perfect tempo, not able to get in just yet.
Ooh, and that's a force out. Heartbreaker's utilized, so Pleb isn't going to be able to really fight it back out. However, Ant is in a really rough spot. Nice counter-strike into the bullet time, though, as it's drawing a lot of damage. Thrasher is going to be able to hop back out, but Ant is in mini Gnar form. How much more damage can go down, though? Flash out by perfect tempo. Ray is going to stay safe. Pleb is here to play, and that's the assassination that you wanted. What a free fire back. Yes, it is a single Let's Bounce come out from Solo Mason, but an overall 4-for-1 in favor of the Kittens this time.
That was a really good ult from Hot Smalls. Put it on himself when the bullet time started to come out, and even though the bullet time looked terrifying, it actually didn't hit anybody. So unfortunately, all of the damage comes out from Monarchs, and it was a really nice roam up from Stone Cold there and Solo Mason to make sure that they're there. Stone Cold forced to flash away. Hot S'mores doesn't have flash in tow, so couldn't chase that out. But then the resets start coming out. All of the kills actually did go over to Hot S'mores, who ended up dying towards the end of the fight. But I mean, you can see this comp, as soon as it starts getting a reset, it's almost impossible to do anything to this Viego. Really well played from Kittens. Could have gone south very quickly with the numbers advantage in favor of Monarchs, but Kittens get it done.
Took a little bit more time. It was messy, of course, but Pleb is starting to get a lot of that freedom to work around. Very specifically, Hot S'more is getting that huge burst of energy here. 4-1-1 now. Already has a Malignance. Is going to be a giant pain in the backside later on towards this mid game. Maybe once we see those dragons stacking up again. There's a lot of options here to play for. Let's just hope the Kittens can keep this pace up. Everyone back to their normal lane assignments. Nobody really in and out of the region, so it is going to be a safe one to play for. Thrasher, though, on the bot side, maybe waiting for a chance at a lane gank. I don't know how neatly this is going to go, as Guo is starting to recognize where the enemy support is. It's gonna be a stab in the dark, though, and a little bit of a call out as they are baiting it a little bit more. In comes Thrasher in perfect tempo. Not really gonna take that much, but a flash forward. I don't know if that's actually what you wanted. Bullet time comes out once again, but Faye is able to flash to safety.
A little bit too aggressive there from Kittens. Nearly got caught. Remember, it's still on 15 seconds on this dragon, and now you've been forced to base. Looks like perfect tempo did swap over to the TP on Summoner Spell. Unsealed Spellbook, so he will be able to TP back around the Drake if Monarchs go for that, but they aren't opting to do it. There's the TP in from mid. Faye has stayed in bot and have maintained a really solid position. That was really Monarchs' play there. That was their turn on the map. They attempt to play in bot while Pleb is in the top side, and Kittens do step up a little bit too far, but they're not able to get enough, and the second Drake will go over to Kittens. This is a very different look. I have to imagine that either there was some team discussion there, or maybe a coach has spoken to this team, because they've completely changed up what they value in this game. They've got most of the objectives. They've really put a stranglehold on the map and playing it really well.
I mean, they're going to continue the steamroll as well, keeping up with the objectives. It's another dragon that is going to be very aggressive. It might not be an ocean soul to play for, but the Hex Tech is great for getting the extra attack speed as well as ability haste. But really, we need to see FFM look to try and get some sort of punch in there. And the corruption goes out, misses, so Guo is able to walk their way to safety. Pleb is going to come through, might get a stun down. Good sidestep coming out, another stun to keep him safe, but in comes ahead, but pulverized once more. And a simple setup for a simple kill, 6th of the game for Kittens.
Oh man, it's such a different look, and it's working so well. And this isn't even a necessarily volatile bot lane, but this team is playing together. They're playing, like, the Viego is playing with his team, not overextending, playing with the CC, giving these resets over to the Viego and all this needed gold. Now, you know, bot lane of Kittens laying into the tower, getting some plates, making it difficult for Solo Mason to play this fight. And there's not a CS advantage for Faye, right? But it's still, you're stuck under tower. This Jax can't be involved. The wards are really strong for Kittens bot side. And again, in this top side, Ant is winning, yes, but you're just weak siding with the Malphite very well. I think that this is a good look. Could be risky here from Ant, though, as members are pathing up.
Yep, easy catch right there. You're going to bounce back to the other side of the map, but there's nowhere to go, and you're a mini-nar form. I really don't think you're going to be getting out of this one, my friend.
Oh,
even Pleb
so
being gifted the kill at the end, and it is a safe and more play for Kittens. A little bit of a dive, though, on this bot side. I mean, Guo can't really do too much. With the gold currently 3K in favor of the Kittens, you know Guo went the wrong way at the wrong time. Ain't no way to stay safe. Things are falling apart for the Monarchs here. Thrasher getting a smite down, though. Might get some revenge on Pleb. Pleb having that dash away, but Thrasher doesn't want to go any further. So it is some sort of fight back, but FFM really faltering here.
Yeah, it's FFM's turn to feel the mistakes coming in for some jungle pathing, but again, all of the play from Kittens, it just looks so much more refined within one game. In between games, it looks completely different. Pleb is not overextending. The kills have been gifted over to this Viego. We're not overextending in bot, punishing a mistake from Guo, getting only one kill. We're not chasing, we're just playing conservative. We're stacking Drakes. We'll punish mistakes when necessary. Pause comes out here. Let's hope that there's not too much of a big issue for either of these teams, but Kittens, what a crazy turnaround so far in this series.
It's been out of this world day and night, really, in my eyes. As you said, things have shifted very, very drastically. They've been very, very active on the map. And again, we need to see them continue this pace. One of the big things that we talked about is they weren't really punishing back in game number 1. Game number 2 now, they're doing a lot more, but it's still only early game. Come the mid game, once the towers start falling, we need to see them actively getting in the way. We need to see them actively rotating their pieces around the entirety of the map, and that's what I want to see overall. Yes, you're doing good now, but will it continue onwards?
And that's a good question, because last game, the late game for Monarchs was much better. The team fights were better. We haven't really seen, outside of that Grubs fight early, a full team fight. And even that wasn't a full 5-on-5. Faye wasn't there. The first items are being completed. We have Essence Reaver for MF. We have Trinity Force for Jax. We're going to be Trinity Force on Gnar fairly soon. Obviously, Roa, the Seraph is going to take a while. This is why not giving over any of the Drakes is so strong, because it is Hexol this game with this great team fighting comp. Hexol is very, very strong and good this game as well, with the poke that can be Varus can apply it, the boulders from Malphite can apply it, as the Chains of Corruption do miss. Nice try from Faye there to find a catch, and it'll be a Herald startup. Hot S'mores, be a bit careful here, but very slippery on this Lysandra, will be able to get away. The late game for Monarchs is strong. It's very strong with this team fighting comp, with this Rise, but it's going to be hard to get there. You've got Dragon now in a minute. There's Hot S'mores.
There's a catch that you're waiting for, and do they give it over? Yes, they do. No assist this time around, but it's a really, really good kill for Solo Mason. Much needed for an ADC position. However, mid lane is where another pinch is coming through here. Herald being dropped and getting so much utilization. Again, for the Kittens, they seem active now into this game. Look for a pinch into this river, though, as the Herald is going to be dropped. Thrasher looking for a nice stun, but the Heartbreaker keeps you safe. A piercing arrow pierces the backside of Rel, and Guo goes on down. Unstoppable force utilized as Ray brings it to a close.
This is almost the exact same situation flipped. Obviously, last game Kittens didn't play, Monarchs didn't play the lane very well. This is a bit different. It's an even lane, fine. But let's see how much, let's see what Solo Mason buffed here, because he got a thing here. Let's take a look at this replay here. But really nice drive hit from Pleb, the knock up as well, and buffers the Counter-Strike stun with his own ult. Then Mercenaries have gone, Monarchs have gone way too far forward. It's easy pickings here, but really what I want to touch on is the shutdown was just gotten by Solo Mason. I don't think did he base, what did he buy? He's got to be sitting on a lot of gold. This is the Drake going over fairly easily. Jungler's not there, sort of. Oh my god, he stole it with bullet time. Oh, sorry, with the rain. He stole it with the rain!
That is insane.
If we have a replay, could we get a replay of that if possible? I wasn't quite looking because I was going to talk about items. I was so sure that dragon was gone, but either way, the MF sitting on a lot of gold, right? It's the same situation as last game where you start fighting when your MF is like building Infinity Edge and is down items. It actually is AP Varus. He's going Rage Blade and Nashes. But a massive steal for Monarchs. That is genuinely important, because it means it's another 10 minutes now, or 9 minutes at this point, before the Kittens have access to Soul, and time for this Roa to stack up. It's going to be fully finished, but perfect tempo. Gets caught out a little bit here.
I mean, this might be...
Gotta walk away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too dangerous, but having to burn the ultimate, you can see that FFM are willing to fight back, at least. And especially with Solo Mason starting to step up a little bit more, this misfortune might start being an issue in the later stages. Now, of course, it's not too difficult to get over that hump. It's not too difficult to catch their misfortune of all things. But if you don't, that's where the damage comes on through. Either way, for Kittens to go ahead and knock down all outer towers, they start working on the inner towers and looking for a way to break the base.
Yeah, it still is very Kittens favored in this game, but the shutdown over to MF, she's getting closer to this second item, Infinity Edge, which is a lot of damage for her. She's got, I think, level, what is it? 10, 12, probably like level 12, I think it is, where you've got W max. For MF, so fairly close to having a ton of movement speed out of combat. Very difficult for Malphite to catch, just off ripping that dry with no setup. And you've now got 10 minutes, or at the time, 10 minutes after the steal before Soul. So Roa completed, the mana stacking, the tier stacking has been completed, so Seraph's being built. In 10 minutes time, when you have to fight this Soul, you're going to be Infinity Edge for MF, maybe close to that BT or Pen, whichever one you want. It probably should be Pen this game. And then finished the Rise items close to level 16. You'll be much, much stronger. The game plan right now is do nothing, honestly. Just catch waves, farm, try not to die. Don't give over, like, give over as little as possible, right? You don't want to lose Atacon as well if possible. And then try to get these spikes online. I'm really interested about, hold on, caught here for Guo, flashes away. But a really nice catch there, forcing a crucial summoner spell, and that's really important for Rel's engage, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of the most important, especially when figuring out how to deal with Hot S'mores and Faye. Now, granted, on the other side, the fact that you are behind means the opponent will be coming towards you 9 times out of 10, so you can play along that end. However, at the current pace of time, Kittens starting to wander a little bit, not sure exactly where they want to aggress, mainly keeping as a trio or a 2-3 position. We'll see if that causes any problems, as, I mean, Baron isn't really going to be up anytime soon. Are they actually looking at Otacon? I didn't even realize that Otacon is actually being started up here. That's going to be jumped on in. He's it away! 2 steals in a row is heartbreaking. They will get kills back at least as Zan tries to flash over the wall. Kittens are desperate for a global objective win, as that is now twice that they have been denied.
That's a really good steal. I think that Ant, unfortunately, dying there is the worst part of that. If he lived, this play would be so winning for the Monarchs right now, but it's still super strong. I was looking, Infinity Edge just completed by Solo Mason. You're still ages away from Rise. You're walking in late. Oh, please don't fight this. The steal comes away. We don't overfight. We don't all die and lose like 3 inner turrets. So Monarchs finding wins. Kittens need to tighten their grip on the reins, because the horse is it's galloping away a little bit too fast for themselves here. Slow the game down. 30 seconds on this Drake. Even though Monarchs are in a good position to scale, the game plan from Kittens is no different. Get this Drake, set up vision. Monarchs should not be able to contest this. Okay, Seraph's is finished for Rise. Infinity Edge is finished for this MF, but on the other side, you've got very strong items. Guo might be caught.
I mean, it's Guo. You've had it once or twice before. It's not the worst thing in the world. However, this catch might be a whole difference. Hot S'mores, though, says this is free low. Of course, they walk straight into the bullet time, and that might be the danger. But of course, Faye says no worries. This time we have all the damage in the world, and we will take those kills. It's a double coming up for Faye, and it's dragging on the table for Kittens.
Yeah, despite these wins, like I said, you're still not strong enough from Monarchs yet. You need full roller, level 16 on Rise minimum, probably another item on MF before you're really confident and ready to go. And still, you know, jungle top has 1 item apiece against the very strong 2 items, right? You've got armor sacking on the Malphite, which is great this game. You've got some very strong items, the Kraken and the Shield Bow on Pleb. Double Seeker's Arm Guard now for the backline of Hot S'mores and Faye. So again, Kittens very strong. Overstep here from Monarchs. They get punished for it. Soul point now for the Kittens. You do now have 5 minutes. That's your timer. 5 minutes. You need items on these jungle top. You need at least some kind of pen on MF to do any meaningful damage. So hopefully just Last Whisper is enough, but full LDR would be good if you're able to get that. But Roa will proc. If you're able to get level 16 off of that, that would be you know, kind of necessary, but very, very helpful. And don't die. Don't get caught up pushing too far. Don't give over any more gold, as Kittens are pretty much 1 fight away from really taking this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for that fight right now as they catch him one more time. This time, Guo goes down. And that's the one that you wanted. Pick off the support. Let the snowball continue. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Poor Thrasher is about to get thrashed here as we're 23.5 minutes into the game. It feels like it's already over. Solo Mason caught underneath the tower. There's no such thing as just play safe when there's a Lissandra on the battlefield.
It is AP Varus as well, doing a whole lot. The double catch potential, 3 stacks from Varus passive, just insta-kill from both of them. Very strong backline here. I love this comp from Kittens. We were saying how good this comp was in the draft, but I wasn't sure about how well it was going to go. Based on the last game, the first game, and how Kittens kind of ran it down a little bit, but very controlled game. I think Monarchs a little bit desperate here. You need to be understanding your strong timers. You've got a late game focused comp, and even then you're on the back foot. It's a very difficult comp to execute on. Again, I think the team fighting in the first game was strong, but we've got 3 minutes now until this Soul. We've got 30 seconds until the Baron, and I think with this gold lead that Kittens have, they might not be waiting for the Drake. It might just be straight toward Baron, or actually straight down to the Gnar for a quick pickup.
I mean, it's an easy catch. You don't have to worry about too much. It's a snap right there. It's easy kills. It's free gold, and at this point, it's just taking what's available. I would like them to close it out, of course, but listen, you got to assert some sort of dominance here.
I just can't. I can't overstate how different of a look this is from Kittens, and I'm really impressed. It is so different. It's like, this is not the Kittens we saw in game 1. Let's catch Gnar because he's going to feel safe. He thinks we're going Baron. Let's quickly catch him out, get the kill, don't overextend, don't use too much. Then we walk up Baron, set up vision, TP in from Malphite into the mid lane to stop the tower going down, take Baron basically for free. Hopefully, might be another steal coming.
Oh, if Thatcher can do it, that'll be the solo time. Nope. It was down to 38 HP, but this time it was Pleb to be able to smite it away. Extremely close in there, but my gosh, it's a whole different story. XSV going, dude. If we had gotten the rest of the objectives, we would have won this game already, but that's the Baron in hand. Yeah,
if they get a bit close, that was a flip. I'd be a little bit scared if I was on Kittens. Let's say I'm the Varus or the Lysandra and we're flipping that. I'm not feeling too confident, but Pleb obviously was very nice. Smite steal, secure, I should say, from Kittens there. Get the Baron. 1 minute on this Drake. I mean, you're looking at the remaining outer turrets. Very nice. 1-3-1 so far being set up from the Kittens. Pleb just steals away some of the chickens. Really nice push away from this Alistar. I think Alistar is great. Hold on. Ray over the wall. Here's a TP in. We're going a bit early here.
That's okay. Ray is like, dude, I'm tanky. I'm level 16. I'm not worried. Counter-Strike is already being utilized. But again, this is XSVK. Just saying, we'll take everything as we need. Position for Dragon, but can take a fight at any time as well. So they're really just kind of doing whatever they wish here, which I do appreciate. Of course, Pleb looking for another snap if they can. They don't want to force it, which I do like right now. Restraint is the name of the game. However, perfect tempo, it's a whole different story. S'mores though flashing into the CC chain, into the catch, into the explosion. The HP bars to no chance at all, as the Kittens are now tigers in the face of the Monarchs. Down they go one by one. Poor Ann is an ant under the foot, and that is XSV Kittens with one of the most dominant games that we have seen here on the night.
I mean, Kittens spit in the face of royalty. Solo Mason gets insta-killed by this AP Varus variant, and this is honestly just a little bit of wallet diff. The fight, not the cleanest in terms of setup, but the execution from Kittens in this second game was night and day between the first game and this game. And Monarchs, you've got to be a little bit nervous after feeling the brunt of these Kittens claws.
Yep, it was a brutal showing, and honestly, it did start with Pleb. Pleb really kicked things off, made sure that they were always aggressive, and this time, he had the champions to do it, I think, at least at the end of the day. Namely, for me, it was looking at that Lysandra before. It was a Syndra. Syndra has good damage, don't get me wrong, but the Lysandra, CC chain over CC chain, making sure the team fights were in their favor. I think that was a big difference maker in there. From there, it was just get the gold, get the kills, and then damage followed soon after.
I was a little worried about this Lysandra. I mean, if you go back, you see my face when they picked Lysandra up. I wasn't super happy about it. Typically, Lysandra is a counter pick into mobility, into engage. But I have to say, Hot S'mores played a very good game. And what I mean by that is knowing your role in the team fight, in the comp. The comp revolves around the Viego. I was worried about this last game because of how you played around the Jinx and how different, how everyone looked on different pages. We were talking as the game was starting, you need to be on the same page. The page doesn't have to necessarily be the LCK page, the perfect page. It just has to be the same. You all have to be agreeing together that this is what you're going to do, as opposed to we're all different, we're all doing different calls. The good thing about this Lysandra is all it wanted to do was just find some CC, find some catches, live through the fights, continue to get CC off, and that was exactly what happened. Very good execution from Hot S'mores and Pleb. Just an outstanding game on the Viego.
Let's see if they can do it one more time, as we are going to go to a very short break. And when we come back, it will be time to crown a champion here on the night. One team will go ahead and give their best at getting their second series victory of this season. And one team will unfortunately fall to the lower ranks and be ineligible, I believe, for playoff contention. So don't go anywhere. The ADL coverage on Monday, this Monday. We'll be back in just a bit. Hello, off we go for game number 3. It is the finale, whether we like it or not. And I know the teams are ready to hammer it out. Both teams have currently had a very dominating game in one form or another. The Monarchs ran pretty dang hard in game number 1 after they got things rolling. But in game number 2, it was all the Kittens. And this time they're staying on those same sides. So now we got the question of how is this going to play out? Champions are off the table, of course. That Viego is no longer applicable. Neither is Lysandra. And for Kittens, it's all about what else do you have up your sleeve?
Monarchs are going to ban the same things as the first game, I assume. The Ziggs, the Yunara, not letting that through. I expect the Mordekaiser Gwen trade again. There's the Mordekaiser ban, so most likely it'll be the Gwen. 4 Fools 5. But yeah, what is available? Still a lot of AD junglers. Xin Zhao, Jarvan available. Orianna is available as well, right? Talia, Galio, bunch of the globals still up in bot lane. There's still strong things. Ashe has seen some rising priority. Jin's still available. Still good engaged supports. Still Leona, Braum, Rakan, still a Xayah Rakan angle. Still a lot of stuff available. And this is what happens when you go Lysandra, Malphite, Gragas in early games in a series, right? You still have a ton of things available. Poppy ban away. I mean, honestly, if I'm Kittens here, I'm just taking Jarvan. I think that's the best bet. Or a Trundle. You could go Trundle as well. Something that is a little lower on the priority. Oh, hold on. Didn't even notice. Yunara left open. So what are Monarchs gonna go here on the answer?
There's a few different answers. We have the Caitlyn up and available if you're trying to outrange. It might not do well in the mid to late game, but it's doable at the end of the day. You have some other options like the Ashe if you wish to slow down the Yunara. There's a lot of options in terms of shifting priority away from that bottom lane. But the the J4 really does send me an idea that they are going to fight for it. They are going to fight hard for it. And because of that, they need the damage to come out here. The J4 Orianna combo lined up.
Yeah, these champions not getting banned a single time and only getting picked in game 3 does hurt the soul a little bit, but it's really good to see it be prioritized here in the final game. This looks like a game 1 draft right now. Ooh, Zed. Wait, but Xin Zhao's picked. Ooh, okay, so this is Zed mid into the Orianna, which does have some counter into it. So the lane is hard, right? It's similar to an Akali look. Yep. The lane is hard against the Orianna later on in the side lane. If she moves up too far, due to the long nature of the side lanes, they're much longer than mid lane. The Zed can just absolutely chase Orianna down. Has some great burst potential. The Kai'Sa as well here being picked up for the Monarchs. I think, you know, engaged supports that are still up. Well, obviously that's not an Orianna ban. But unless they're like, damn, we should banned it.
There we go.
I could see a like a Nautilus pickup here for Kai'Sa, a Braum look, Sona banned away. I think you need some tank, some peel for the Zed. I think that if you don't go that, the Zed can take over the game.
Let's see if they do. So right now, a little bit of focus on the team fight, making sure the Ornn and the Sejuani don't come through, which I do agree with, especially when you're running a little bit of an assassin here. There's a Nico, though, another denial tool at the end of the day. And for me, that is terrifying in more ways than one. Having that very aggressive bot lane means Monarchs are kind of tossing caution to the wind. And this is why the Tahm Kench is coming out here. I believe this was banned away previously, or no, it was touched on as a possible ban. Instead, it is going to be that safe calling to be played in the cannon up to the top side, an amalgamation of just about 3 different styles coming out for Kittens, and yet it seems strangely familiar to what they played before.
Ooh, Rek'Sai here at the end. The typical counter for Cannon is Jace. Very difficult for the Cannon to get to the Jace. You outrange him for a large portion of the game. The problem I have with the Monarchs draft here is that Zed gets a ton of value, right? Doesn't care about Nico at all. Eats Orianna on the side lane. Doesn't care about Jarvan Cage. Doesn't really care about Kai'Sa. It's very difficult to lock the Zed down. I think Nautilus was a great answer here. Could have been a potential, or, you know, There are others. Leona's not the worst. Rakan's decent too with Kai'Sa. You need CC. Kai'Sa Nico is great. This comp is great for Monarchs. I'm just worried about this Zed. There's not a whole lot of lockdown onto the Zed. There's not a whole lot that can kill him effectively. And you're right, Kittens do have a bit of all over the place draft, but what they do have, Orbital, is a lot of fighting potential. That's what all of these champions have in common. Tahm Kench has his work cut out for him, peeling the correct target, which is all of them at once. They do have a lot of space buy with Xin Zhao, with Pleb on the Xin Zhao, but yeah, Kittens, they need to fight, and they need to fight often.
I think that's going to be what they're calling for. See how much they can fight and see how quickly they can fight as well. Eyes are abound everywhere, though, as I wonder if also a little bit of the mental is going to be brought into this. Kittens, of course, ran game number 2, and maybe that's why they're willing to step out of their comfort zone a little bit more. Having that ability to, play individually as well might be a huge condition for them, but my eyes are kind of questioning, do we think that the mental kind of flow is with Kittens right now, or do you not really take that into consideration when we see some of these players, Jay Beto?
I for sure do. A long time ago, but I've been a player on a different game, and I think that momentum in a series is super important. Even if it's scrims, I think that feeling confident is really important. I always like to say when trying to talk to other players about how to play, you need to be disrespectful to the player and how you play, but you need to be respectful for the champion you're playing against and what they can do. And I think that this is a comp that can play extremely disrespectfully. And I mean that in a sportsman way. I mean absolutely swagging on your opponent, fighting to the death all the time, flashy plays with Cannon, Zed going in. For Monarchs, I do want to touch on their draft is a lot more low end, I'll say, low energy. It's got some good fighting potential. Nico, Orianna, Jarvan, it's great. It's very kill first target with Kai'Sa. You can dive as well, but Orianna gets a little bit left out to dry here. What I need to see from Kittens is kind of what we've been talking about all series, is keep up the pressure, be on the same page. If game 1 happens to Kittens this game, it is over. There is no chance because it's such a hard draft to play. It's very fighty, very mechanically demanding. Monarchs will absolutely run you over in the late game. But if they can play like they did in game 2, with Pleb really defining the game, Hot S'mores playing the role, very different look than the Lysandra, Kittens can absolutely just steamroll this game.
Well, let's see if they can pull it off right now. Battle lines are drawn once again. And this time around, it's going to be a lot more spicy. No big tanks to kind of hold the line while the rest of the team comes on in. It's all about getting that first strike and getting that ability to shut down your opponent. For Stone Cold, though, the Rise never really got off the ground, so that's what I'm going to be watching for. Can this Orianna farm well? Can they play appropriately into the Zed? And can they win in a handed fashion as well? Ignite, for a mid laner, one of the first I've seen in quite some time, but surprisingly enough, the Conqueror instead of the Electrocute. To me, that's always a little bit surprising when you go into just about any squishy APC.
Well, the Ignite is definitely indicative of how Hot S'mores wants to play this lane and this game. Very aggressive, fighting to the death like we were touching on the drop. But yeah, I think Electrocute could go well here. In the jungle, Conqueror is better, but in the mid lane, Electrocute being able to proc that on the Orianna might be a little bit stronger. It will be and if it's not, I'm gonna send a message to HR. Roa tier Orianna. It has to be this game, or the game is over immediately. You're gonna be dove on non-stop this game. You need to be tanky, and this is why the cannon is such a nice addition here. Because if it's not cannon, if it's even a magic tank, right? Something like a Gragas, as Tango Powers will hit Faye, who takes quite a bit of trade here, and looks like the Nico. Hold on. Guo.
That was a lot of damage going down, and honestly, I don't know if the trade was actually worth it at the end of the day, as Guo was about to go down. Solo Mason had to eat that one. It was a little bit overcompensating for the damage output. I'm a little bit worried about that one. Either way, heavy trading patterns have lended itself to no pots pretty much on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, it's gonna be risky for Guo to hold the heel for that long. Could have been a flash in from either Perfect Tempo or Faye. Maybe that was the plan all along to try to bait something out. But yeah, I want to touch back on this cannon, why the cannon is such a great pickup here. It's volatile, and you really need flanking fights for cannon. You have to be landing on top of multiple members, otherwise cannon's very useless. But it means that Orianna can't go plated steel caps this game, and if it was a tank in the top with this AD core, there is a lot of damage, sure, but Orianna would become so unbelievably tanky with she's got the bone plating, which means resolve. Probably some HP stacking there in the runes. Roa, Tyr, Seraphs. Hold on. Ant catches Ray.
Oh, and an early flash is going to let itself do some extra damage. However, Ant has the ability to throw down that last little Q and secures the kill, although it was very close to being messy if Thrasher wasn't there.
Yeah, nice all in from Ray, but great early pathing from Thrasher. Will just be a scuttle trade for both of these junglers. But good gold lead now getting surmounted for Monarchs. It's a much needed kill in the top lane. The lane will get harder and harder. The range up against the melee, obviously. And when some of this magic damage really starts to hit level, especially level 6 onwards, it's very difficult for Rek'Sai to do anything. But Perfect Tempo wants to get a bit aggressive. Takes a bit of a chunk on the backside, but I actually don't know the passive name. Something skin, maybe? Tough skin? Sounds about right to me, but we'll heal up most of that.
I think it is tough skin. It's very malleable, but not exactly stone skin at the end of the day, right? It's durable is the best way to put it. We haven't seen Tahm Kench in the support role, I think, in a very long time. It used to be the go-to, especially playing with things like Ascena, but has instead been kind of reprioritized to either a top lane or a cheeky one-off trick. Either way, it will be utilized to try and keep Faye in control. After that first kill, though, it's been relatively quiet. 5 minutes in the game, and nobody else has really made a massive move. Oh, good damage to go down as Hot S'mores was surprised. As I said, though, it's just a bit of damage, no major kills to come through.
Level 6s haven't been hit for these teams just yet. We're on the precipice of that, and that's really a game-changing game state, right? Shockwave, the killing time for Zed. You've got the Jarvan Cage Cataclysm. You've got Crescent Guard for Xin Zhao. The what is it? Slicing Maelstrom, I think it is. Oh, here comes one ult.
Was that death mark to be utilized here, but it's a huge one to win. Again, for Hot S'mores, one of the big things when it comes to an assassin in the mid lane, yeah, you just wait it out. It's used to get damage, burn the flash, and it's a free kill in mid. Hot S'mores with a kill back for Kittens.
Very nice all in from Hot S'mores. Getting value out of the Ignite is always good, and there's that double Ruby Crystal start for Stone Cold. Knows how the game is going to go. Something that I want to highlight here, shout out to production for letting me know about this, is that Monarchs have changed their jungle support back to what it was officially on the roster. So Guo in the support role now, Thrasher in the jungle position. I assume that the teams were notified before that change came through, and that it's all fine. But maybe this is a champ pool thing, right? We wanted to go the engaged supports. Hold on. Guo knocked up.
It's going to be a nice little catch. Exhaust going down here. Guo trying to run away. Faye dropping the damage, but Pleb not willing to dive. Either way, it's good to kind of force FFM into a lower percentage game. They have been bullied around here in the bot lane.
I have no idea what happened in game 1 because this game looks very similar to game number 2. Obviously, Monarchs had a bit of the gold lead still from the solo kill in the top lane, the first blood. Bit of CS advantage too in the mid lane, which is, you know, how it is in this matchup. But it's just dragon stacking, path down bot fight. That it honestly has been what we've seen a lot at Worlds. Yes, we've seen lane swaps and some prioritization towards grubs, but grubs are a lot more of a macro focus thing, right? About pushing these side lanes, and maybe on Cannon you want that, but with the early dominance that Kittens have with the no ults, right? You know, Nico, Kai'Sa, Orianna, Jarvan really need their ults. Kai'Sa, Nico not having access to that. Really important, especially the Nico. Kai'Sa mostly needs the item upgrades, the ability upgrades, sorry, with the items to become stronger, so that'll be a while. So Kittens, path around these dragons, team fighting together. It's great to see. It is shocking how different they look this game to the first game, and game 2 to the first game as well. For Monarchs, you need this scaling, right? You need these items on Kai'Sa. You're going the Roa tier build, which is the Roa Seraphs build, sorry, which is correct for Stone Cold. It's going to take you a while. Just need to bide your time, take your losses, weather the storm. Hold on, here's a root.
Well, the route might not go as far as you think. Hot S'mores goes in the wrong direction, but is able to juke out thanks to the reclone back. They were able to take Guo's life, and Perfect Tempo was there to help out. Hot S'mores playing both offense and defense. Alessandra to Zed styling as now Thrasher is in for a rough one. What is going on here as things have gotten a little bit out of control?
The Kittens have really turned up their gameplay. Laying top here from the Monarchs, but unfortunately after that play in the mid lane, the lane top is kind of useless. You're not able to get any of the grubs, and Kai'Sa against Kennen is pretty risky for the Kai'Sa. There will be one grub secured now. Guo will find the Tangle Barb's root. Perfect Tempo gets a ward over the wall. Thrasher might look for one, but that would be pretty much sacrificing himself for the one grub. Guo tries to seal with the Q over the wall, and there'll be 3 grubs pretty easily over to Kittens. Very, again, like, I know I'm kind of saying the same thing over and over again, but that's because they're just playing, they're doing the same thing over and over again. It's working, right? We walk together, punish mid, really nice mechanical play from Hot S'mores, then we transition to the objective and get the objective easily. It's such simple gameplay, which is, I guess, why I was a bit annoyed about game 1. I think that Kittens have just played this early game incredibly well. I think that was -1.
I gotta agree with that one. Of course, for Ray, it's the only one that has actually had a lot of issues considering how many times they've been getting. But this time around, they're turning it around as Guo can't really stay. One last auto attack would take it. However, the dance is good, but in comes Perfect Tempo to help on out. Solo will fall as well, even through the barrier. And Thrasher, you're not one for this world. You will flag and drag your way to safety. But the flash forward and last tongue lick brings it to a 3-1 for XSV Kittens as they rule the top side of the rift.
And the Kittens pounce on their opponent right here. Just winning out everywhere so far. This bot lane is going fine. I mean, Faye needs to be a bit careful, but a massively failed dive in the top side as this is going to be another failed dive too. It's going to be 1-for-1. And I really don't think that's great for Rek'Sai. Giving a kill over to the Inara, dying as well. Can you finish an item on this? No, it doesn't look like it. So I think that Kittens are performing very well in this 3rd game. Perfect Tempo roaming up to top was excellently played to cover. And some much needed kills. Obviously, it does feel a little bit bad that Tahm Kench gets 2 kills, but this is one of the reasons we don't see Tahm Kench a whole lot. As TP into top from Rek'Sai will dissuade Ray from getting any more poke on the tower, is that Tahm Kench needs health to do damage and goes Heartsteel, which is very expensive. And the support meta right now is to sack support, get redemption, and then don't complete another item after boots. Maybe 2 if you're really lucky. And Tahm Kench really likes items, really likes gold. This is why the Tahm Kench Center was such a valuable thing. It's very strong in lane with the poke and the sustain. It loves getting the CS, so when it was fasting center, the Tahm Kench was much better in that regard, and it was more of a melee tank meta at the time, so Tahm Kench was able to stack up Heartsteel as well. Now this game, Tahm Kench off to a good start, gets that early Heartsteel, bridges the gap just a little bit in terms of value, because Nico has Pop Blossom. That's, you know, you're waiting on the Rocket Belt. That's kind of the spike, but Thrush over the wall.
It's going to be a nice little catch there. Crescent Guard being utilized, though, as Pop Blossom is going to try and turn it around 2v3. Very nice Devour to try and keep yourself safe, but Thrasher is now in a rough spot. Faye is ready to go with the Empower to Transcendence, and the snipe is going to be good. Auto attack follows, and the Kittens bring yet another to their own. Not only that, they're going to try and angle at Dragon to keep this Dragon stacking up. Stone Cold going to run interference as best they can, but in goes the Deathmark on the other side as Solo Mason stuck in a really rough spot, and unfortunately, the Ignite will be your undoing. Kittens really going to town here, keeping their pressure up.
And we're saying in draft that this is a team comp that needs to be aggressive, and so far, Orbital, it really has been. Kittens have not let off the pressure at all. 3-0-1 on this Zed now, 2 one for this Yunara. First items completed nearly across the board. The important strong members of these fights do. So Sundered Sky, Eclipse, Kraken Slayer, all finished up against the, the rower, right? Sundered Sky is now finished. Kraken is now finished for Kaiser, but at the time, I believe it wasn't. So Monarchs feeling a little bit stronger now, but how much have you lost? 2 Drakes, 3 Grubs, a lot of gold and kills on some important members. And this is kind of what I was saying, why the cannon is so valuable. You can see Orianna did go those physical armor tank boots, the plated steel caps. So yes, feels great against the trio of Xin Zhao, Zed, and Yunara. But this cannon will just tear through this Orianna, and you'll miss out on a little bit of the damage that you might have gotten from either the just normal pen boots or the ability haste from the lucidity boots. I can't fault the decision. It was definitely on my mind that there's just so much burst AD damage, but if this cannon, if Ray can find some good ults in the backline, this Orianna will die just as quick.
If it happens, it happens. At this point, though, you still got to deal with the main threat, which is that split pushing a Zed. Currently 3-0-1. Doesn't have upgraded boots, but doesn't really need it. Has the Eclipse in hand. Solo Mason over to the mid lane, waiting for their chance to kind of pop off here. 1-2 is their current score line. Not the best in the world, but not the worst by a fair margin. We'll be keeping eyes exactly to see if FFM can break this stalemate and start getting some randomization of their own, as they're still hunting for first tower 14 minutes into this game.
I believe, oh no, feats have been claimed. I am wrong. The Grubs plus the 2 Drakes and the 3 kills do count for Kittens. So first tower, just a gold bounty, which is still something to fight over, still something to go for. Got a lane top up here. Got the Zed in the side lane now, which it only goes up from here. And it was already going up due to the kills gotten a bit earlier. I think Ant has done a pretty good job of surviving this lane so far. I would have thought this lane would have been much harder, but I guess the sustain from Rek'Sai is just that strong. So that's good news for Ant and good news for Monarchs. But the bad news is this mid lane, which is now, the top lane is going to only get worse from this point onwards, and Stone Cold again is very far away from being tanky enough to fight the Zed or survive through the Zed, and you're just losing on the map. Herald spawns, mid push from Faye and Perfect Tempo, move over to the Herald. Very good play, no cross map available, as looks like Ray, is giving some tower here. Hot s'mores.
Oh. That damage is terrifying. That damage is, that's what, a couple auto attacks best. Stone Cold is not going to like what comes next. That's going to be Pleb diving on in. No shockwave either. It's a straight up dive. Pop lost him in the mid lane though to try and answer back. However, it's again a quick devour to safety. This is why you pick it up. Slicing Maelstrom going to be utilized. Ray going to try and get in the middle. Has things that's just drastically topside. Went to XSV Kittens. And mid lane didn't fare much better for FFM. Things are all going the way of the Kittens as they're looking for this mini reverse sweep.
If Guo didn't find the Tangle Bobs there onto Ray, that was a full ace, because Ray would have ulted everybody and everybody would have died. But luckily, Nico hits E, flashes away. The Slicing Maelstrom is not able to land onto the back of the team, but still, Stone Cold having a tough one. Mid tower now being broken open with the Herald, and 50 seconds. It's Infernal Soul this game. Infernal Soul Zed, 4-0. The chances for the Monarchs to come back in this game are getting slimmer and slimmer, to be honest.
Yep. I really got to sit here and wonder, how are you going to make this work for yourselves if you're FFM? The Monarchs have tried their best, but hope is slipping away very, very quickly. They're going to start wandering over with 15 seconds left on Dragon. They are going to prep a lot of these lane states and a lot of these wards to be dropped on down. Maybe looking for this 1v4. We just mentioned that it was a little bit difficult for the 1v1. Well, now you bring on a 4-man squad and you're saying hot s'mores. You better look to run away. Guo getting death marked here, but the shockwave draws him right back. A lot utilized just to get one, but that's what you needed to do. We said if you're going to kill hot s'mores, you got to do it well, and you got to invest quite a bit in.
And the Dragon is spawned. Cataclysm onto Pleb.
Well, I wasn't sure about that one, but Pleb uses the Crescent Guard to fight on back, and now it's Pop Blossom into 2. They do turn it on to Faye, and they might be able to kill Faye. They do. That's catch number 1. Pleb trying to stay alive. Devour once again keeps you alive for a moment longer, but that just makes Ray be the target of aggression. Things have turned for FFM as they all in on the kills, and they earn themselves an ace.
The chances for Monarchs coming back into this game orbital were slim, but not zero. First, a brilliant catch onto Hot S'mores, not over-investing in the ult. Then a catch onto Pleb, a beautiful pop blossom from Guo. The team fighting we saw in Game 1 from Monarchs is finally coming true in Game 3, in the needed final game of this series. It's not over yet. Monarchs still need to win more fights, but they've surmounted themselves a gold lead, one Infernal Drake that is so important for the scaling of this comp, and some much needed gold. 4-1 now on this Rek'Sai. Ant leading the charge forward with the rest of his team.
Well, to get there, let's see this replay that we have of that fight. It looked chaotic. And again, remember, it just wasn't, they didn't have the Zed. Hot S'mores has been such a mainstay part of the battlefield, and Ray went a little bit too far forward, which, again, with that Slicing Maelstrom, it's a great deterrent, but FFM's gamble, their risk paid off, and it did yield results. I'm wondering if they can do it again, though.
And this is the thing with Cannon, is if you can land onto the backline, it is one of the best ults in the entire game. It is probably the best team fighting ult, or up there with one of the best team fighting ults. Obviously, Pop Blossom's great too. There are some other great team fighting ults, you know, World Ender's great. But you need to be either flashing in, you know, Rock Belt, mostly flanking, and having these side angles in the fights. Ray, unfortunately, ran in a straight line, and Cannon is not good at doing that because he doesn't have any movement abilities. He has like movement speed in, I think it's E is the one, but no actual massive gap close. And you see that the Slicing Maelstrom doesn't get a whole lot done. Still, Kittens in a good spot. Atacon will spawn, and it looks like Kittens are setting up some vision around Stone Cold up on the top, getting some minions, trying to push down this tower potentially as just a bait so far, but this is spotted pretty easily by Ant over the wall. Pleb finds Solo Mason.
Oh, and Solo Mason, being able to stay alive, only uses that killer instinct. Not the worst one to worry about. However, topside is still going to fall. Stone Cold is now in the vicinity to help on out as they need. A little work. Hot S'more recognizing that, hey, I can't really fight this one out. Both mid laners are now the target of aggression on multiple different angles.
Well, Ray back up in the top lane now, does have TP available, so can TP down. There is that ward right there that is now getting cleared out, so no flanking wards really for this Cannon to TP into. It'd have to be a straight line fight yet again, which with no flash is very difficult to do. On the other side, Guo has flash. So pay attention to this next Pop Blossom. Could go absolutely massive. Guo's going some armor. Looks like maybe the either Randuin's or the, what's it called? Frozen Heart? Yeah, Frozen Heart's probably better this game, just due to the fact that there's not enough crit really to make the Randuin's that valuable. But it is going to be the Warden's Mail, I believe that part is called, that component. But 1 minute 50 on the next Drake. I think that Monarchs happy to give this if necessary. Wait for these. Nice, I did get it correct. Yeah, so it's either Randuin's or it's Frozen Heart, which is a bit awkward for Nico. But honestly, level 6 Nico has Rocket Belt. That's it. Anything past that for Nico is just extra value. The Spike is level 6 in Rocket Belt with Flash Up. That's all you really need. Lucidity Boots helps for a bit of ability haste too. Has the support starter. That's all you really need. But yeah, I think that Monarchs are able to give this. Wait for these items on Stone Cold to finish stacking up. Don't give out a card if you can, but if you have to give, it's okay. We need one more item on Kai'Sa, or a couple more components on Kai'Sa to have the W upgrade as well. You're very strong then. Wait for these items to finish stacking. Level 16 on Orianna would be nice too. As Kittens clear out some of this vision, push out the Monarchs from the Outercarn pit, sweep out some vision, but don't end up starting it just yet.
I think really everyone's just kind of fishing for something, right? With Dragon coming up in about 30 seconds, that's what their focus is really on here. Nobody wants to focus too heavily on this kind of embankment, this positional territory. They know the next fight is going to be very pivotal in how this game is played out and who is going to get first push on the enemy base. Thrasher as well as Stone Cold, though, they are trying to set up a little bit of a bait. Hot S'mores is probably itching for a kill opportunity. There's a jump on in. Thrasher went a little bit early though, so Hot S'more is able to walk away.
Now it's Kittens' turn to walk forward. There is some good vision out actually for the Monarch, so they're very happy to just keep clearing these waves, walking away. We are 3 minutes away from the rower procking from Orianna. If we're at level 15 before then very good value from the rower. You hit level 16, get that third level in ult. This would be a massive Drake, but I don't think Kittens are going to allow you to take it. Thrasher gets slowed. EQ's out.
It's not much more though, but good coverage coming out from XSV. Go ahead, converge on this Dragon. It's taken quite low, and you're a little bit late to get on in, but you're going to slam on down. Smite comes through. However, the Cataclysm is there. Pop Blossom on the 4 in the back line. Very nice death mark. Will it be enough to escape the onslaught? Solo Mason is untouched, and they're just going to keep on fighting. That's going to be the killer's instinct in FFM. The Monarchs reign supreme. Wow. They lose the Dragon, but take the battle and will ace XSV once again.
I mean, the flash on the Pop Blossom, literally what I said before, but wow, what an engage from the Monarchs. It is the EQ Cataclysm with the Shockwave, the Pop Blossom flash onto everybody except the Zed who was in ult, and Guo dies immediately. It's stalled out by the Zhonya's from Ray here. But there's just so much damage, and already the health bar is so low from Kittens. They lose the Drake, like you said, but they get Outercarn, they get this mid tower. 10 stacks of Dark Seal. Let's see what items are we at now. We have a needlessly large rod for Orianna, and oh, it's actually going to be the crit version of this build for Solo Mason. Very nice. So it's the Kraken Rageblade, then actually, I'm confused, actually, because that's not how you build Phantom Dancer. I think that may be a mistake or a change up in build here for Solo Mason, because the recurve bow is for Nash's, but then the axe is actually for Phantom Dancer. So not sure exactly where this build is going. Hopefully it doesn't get stalled out too long by maybe going the wrong item here, but hey, Frozen Hearts are getting built. A lot of armor being stacked up here, and the cannon has not gotten enough value. This is the problem with this comp, and I mentioned it earlier. You know, when you overinvest in armor, the cannon can just tear you to pieces with ult, but he hasn't landed on anyone really. The Zhonya's there was pretty useless. You know, use the flash in. It hasn't really gotten enough value. The good news here for the Kittens is Soul Point, Infernal Soul Point, with all this damage that you've got, the cannon, the Zed, the Yunara. You are down a pretty significant amount of gold, but Orbital, this is the closest game we've seen in this set.
It really has been, even though it's 5k difference, the comeback has been so real for the side of FFM, and I can only imagine where the next battle is going to be played. I always assume around some of these global objectives, but it really does feel wherever the teams decide to meet up, that's where they're going to fight. XSV Kittens, 2 times they have been denied in a team fight, 2 times they have gotten aced, and yet they're still sitting on Soul Point. So there is still a glimmer of opportunity for themselves. There's still a glimmer of a way for them to come back.
Oh, it's Terminus. Okay, this is a version of Kai'Sa I haven't really seen a whole lot. It's like full on hit, no AP, like full AD on hit, which is a bit strange. Knock-up comes in.
Maybe they get a little bit of a catch. That's only going to be on 1 though, but the split is not going to worry. Solo Mason is still chunking on through, slicing Maelstrom into the back line though, as this time Solo goes down. That's what you want to find, but the Rek'Sai is currently online, and so the backline versus backline has been deleted. Oh, what a rude! They caught the poor Zed. Zed is going to have to run away. Backline is now annihilated as Pleb is able to find it out, and that's what they needed to find. Such a juggle at the end of a day. as Kittens say, cool, we can't outright team fight. Let's scramble. Let's cause chaos. And they come away with a 2 for 3.
And crucially there, Ray, even though he dies, the Slicing Maelstrom stuns Kai'Sa. And Hot S'mores is able to enter the backline and kill the Kai'Sa before enough of this damage is done. The Pop Blossom wasn't big enough. The Shockwave wasn't big enough. These are crucial tools to this fight. If they hit, like we saw in the last one, the fight goes so handedly in favor of Monarchs. If they don't hit, and on the other side Slicing Maelstrom hits, and the fight goes heavily in favor of Kittens. Now evening up the gold lead a little bit, 50 seconds. On this soul for Kittens, Monarchs need to deny it yet again. They're able to get Faye in that fight, so no Baron goes over to Kittens. So a silver line and a lost fight there. But you've really got to be careful in these fights. You're still probably pretty far away from Rabadons. Some lost stacks from Darksteel there. As Flash will be available for Guo in this next fight. That is a crucial summoner spell to look out for.
See how long that lasts and see how well these teams play around, summoners or no. It's all about the upcoming battles. Dragon is now currently available, or at least in about 10 seconds. It's eyes out. Surprisingly, the Kittens are ranging up on the top side. They're saying we can give up one dragon. We're not too worried about it. If they so wish, though. That's the big question. Dragon is up. They are going to turn on it. One started. So it's a race against time. Both are on a slower end of it, though. Keep in mind, J4 doing Dragon solo. Pleb and Ray, though, aren't able to do Baron on their own. So for the current moment, stalled out FFM have a little bit more to work with.
Kittens not confident to start up the Baron here. Maybe they're not quite sure that Thrasher is actually on the Drake rushing it. I think that you just do the Baron there. No jungle steal potential, and if they walk into aggressively, if Monarchs walk into aggressively, you just turn the fight. And with Slicing Maelstrom available with Flash, should be a complete wipe. Then Baron, you lose one Drake. Now resets coming out from Monarchs. They deny the soul, get another Drake of themselves. 4 Infernal Drake. Infernal Soul is horrendously strong. We're obviously quite a while away from that, but Monarchs finding wins again in this game, despite Kittens being in arguably a stronger position with the Infernal Soul point. Pleb's caught. The Tangle Barb's over the wall, but Thrasher doesn't want to go. I think he might have been able to even kill the Zinzao there, but I guess didn't have enough vision, wasn't comfortable going over the wall. But Monarchs in a commanding position now. Kittens, it feels like they're, again, loosening the control of this game. We saw it a little bit in game 2, but in this game, they were so much stronger, and now they're kind of falling apart.
I think those last 2 fights really made them worried. And again, they're kind of biding their time. They're saying we need a little bit more. But of course, with their team comp, it's a little bit rough to say. They need to go ham. They need to go really, really hard into the paint because Zed doesn't exactly scale into the late game. I know you ran Conqueror. That gives you a little bit more survivability, but you ain't winning now. Something that was positive before, Hot S'mores was pretty much unchecked in the solo lanes originally during split push. Now you got a Rek'Sai that is able to do so. Now you got an Orianna. You could say relatively alive in some of these battles. These are both positions that I don't know if the Kittens really posited when they were playing a lot slower, when they were taking their time moving around the map. At the current moment, though, we are fixated a little bit on this 1v1. Good knock-up and the tag. It is going to be a chance at a death mark. However, it's going to be down into the ground. Pop of the death mark won't be doing too much. And though, with a flat forward, we'll gather kill number 1. And with that kill, you can now chase a little bit more. Faye trying to run away. Good tag with that Seeker, and do they look for a bit more? Another tether on the back end, but in comes the Slicing Maelstrom straight to the back line, and that's what you want to see. Double knock up into more damage. Shockwave to turn it around, though. That's what you want to see. FFM rule from an Iron Throne, and Stone Cold is cold with it. Ace for FFM once again.
The Monarchs get their crown. The Shockwave decimates the fight here. When you take a look back at this replay, it was a bit awkward. Engage from Monarchs, and again, Slicing Maelstrom does not hit Kai'Sa. The Shockwave hits everybody. And Orbital, at a flip of a switch, that's the game, and that's the series.
GG's. The Fools 5 Monarch. A squad that we sat there wondering if they could pull it off. And they did. With a singular sweep, a solo kill in the side lane. They shut the doors on what could have been a reverse sweep, but it is denied. Unfortunately for XSV Kittens, they will not be making it into the cross-conference play, but it was still a well-fought battle to end the season on.
Yeah, I think Ant, quiet, but so impactful. I mean, that solo kill at the end, super important, right? If Zed's alive, if he's able to go towards the fight, maybe the fight looks very different. This is a concern that I've had with Kennen for a while. I love Kennen. I think in the right hands, Kennen can absolutely take over a game. It's similar to a Nico, right? That AoE circle ult. And this time, Guo wins out in the circle ult battle. Really well played Shockwave, but Monarchs, some weaker early games, but their team fighting is so good. It's very synergistic. Their comps favor team fighting over anything else. And I think that going into the coming weeks, whether it's playoffs for them, you know, continuing on or just this next week, I think they just need to continue to draft this team fighting style. If you're playing against them, look at this. Look at how they play their games. There is weaknesses in the early game. Specifically, their bot lane had a bit of a shaky performance in the laning phase, but again, their team fighting just so strong. Condolences to Kittens. The game 2 was a crazy turnaround from how you looked in game 1. And even this game 3, very good start in this game. Caught out a little bit, some macro mistakes. I think not getting that soul there was a mistake. I think that you were very strong on that timer, but what a set and what an end to an electric set.
It was a good time overall, and I hope to see even more in the future. Again, next week will be a little bit more conference play, this time where the divisions do clash in more ways than one. You can see the damage numbers here, though, as we did see a massive play coming out of MMF, and I hope to see even more of them in the future. At the current moment, though, we are going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. Hopefully, y'all had a lot of fun. Now, my name is Orbital. With me has been Jay Beto, and we had Macros on the production. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Aegis Defenders League broadcast, and we'll see you all next time.
Bro, just use Zen Market.